Good afternoon and welcome to the second part of this three-part series. It was going to be two parts, but it is going to be three parts. So welcome to the Railsim Gamer How to Create a Scenario for Pros 2025 edition. If you watched last week's fun, we were going and pretty much setting up the scenario, which is on the Riviera line, with a service which is due for London Paddington. Obviously, because of how that line is, it's only going as far as Exeter. So we set up a train going all the way to Exeter, I believe. So if you've been watching, it's going to be a three-part series. This part number 2. If you haven't watched it, please use the link in the description to watch the first one, which sets up the scenario. In today's one, we are going to look at adding AI traffic to the scenario. Let's just test to see if this is the right one. I believe it is. So when I click T, yes, this is the correct one. Good start. Right, so we're going to actually add some AI traffic. So AI traffic in the terms of train simulator is basically trains that aren't yours that are going to be coming the other way or acting as buffers for services, for example, how to set signals if trains got to go in front. So what we're going to do first is for this you're going to need two resources. You're going to need the trains that you're going to put on for AI traffic. So for the Riviera line, we're going to look at using class 158, 166s, maybe the class 143s, which I can't remember if they were out when the 800s were introduced. I think they might have just been right at the end, and potentially a cross country HST, which would be on the line from after Newton Abbot. So we're currently at Paynton, and we're going to set up our first service coming the other way. So the resources you're going to need for this is, if you're trying to make it look like an actual train timetable, you'll probably need a website called Real Time Trains, which shows all the running information for trains around the UK, and you can put in the location and times. So if you remember from last week, this train is set to leave at 10:55, which is actually a real service going to London Paddington, with a head code of 1 Alpha 81. So if we look at real-time trains to Paynton, there is actually a service that arrives at 11:01, which will be coming the other way, and that normally comes from Paynton to Paynton. Interesting. Okay, so we actually need to put that one just up here to arrive. Kind of. We'll actually tell you what. We'll put it leaving kind of midpoint between here and Torquay, and so it arrives kind of just after we've left. So maybe around here. When you're placing trains, make sure you put them near a signal. That sounds a bit weird, but if for whatever reason there's a train in front of it and it's not kind of behind the train in front, they can crash and you can get collisions, which is frustrating because they only normally appear once you've started building everything. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is actually import the trains. So I believe we're going to use the 150 EP class 143. Is there anything else? The 158s. Where are the 158s? 158's just there, and maybe that one as well. I don't believe there's any other types of trains we use. So because they're enhancements packs, what we just click there, we just need to go and find them as well, and actually tick the loadable asset. So we'll do the 143 pack, 143, 150. 158, don't need to do that one because that's a specialized pack. Maybe that one. And then there's some other ones also in, I believe they're in RSC, which is just there. Right, so if we find them. So, yep, we need the 159 pack, 158 pack, just like that. And that should be everything, I think. Right, actually, no, we need to do the HST as well. So if we scroll class 143, tell you what, to click them all. You never know which ones we're going to use. And I believe they are just Kuju. How you say it, I think it says Rails and just like that. We'll find out in 10 seconds because it might say you haven't set the right things, and we'll just go back. So the first train we're going to put on is the 11:01 Paynton, due for Paynton. So we're going to come over here and we're going to make this one. Let's have it as a 150 in First Great Western livery. That is X Central. X Central. Oh, I need to find there. There's a lot of X ones here. First Great Western. So just like that. So there was, believe it or not, one or two trains like this knocking around until about a few days ago, and they've painted them, and the last blue one's now gone. So if we put a driver in that, and we're going to find it on here, and we're going to call it service. I don't know. Let's try Torquay. So TQY to Paynton PGN, and it's a stopping service. And let's get that to leave at maybe 55. So just going to zoom in here and change that to 55. Right, so that's a train set. We actually just need to give it a location to go to, and that's Paynton platform number. Oh, good Christ! I think it's number 2. Paynton platform 1. I do apologise. Right, so we're going to go down, go down, go down. Paynton number 1. Sorry about the seagulls. I do live at the coast, so we do get seagulls all the time, just in the background. I'm sorry about that. And once the train's been put there, you do see there's actually a red line which shows it's got the path. A big thing to note when setting these up is to look out for errors, and they're highlighted where my mouse is just down here. For example, incorrect electrification or power. That's more common. You won't have this on that route. On this route, that's common when you have electric trains and you try to put them on diesel routes. Sometimes you have drivers failed, which means sometimes it's timetabling. Sometimes you haven't put a driver. Lots of different reasons for that one. So it's a bit kind of you have to work through different things to work out what it means. But the most common is path blocked. So if I went and put a train in front of this one just here, you'll get an error saying path blocked, and you have to review it. So that's our first train. To be fair, because how Paynton is, it's quite difficult to sort of put trains from Paynton to Paynton. There isn't actually going to be any other trains on this bit of line before we get to Newton Abbot. So if we head to Newton Abbot, if you didn't know, you can go to different parts of the route by clicking this icon here, scrolling down and finding Newton Abbot or wherever you want to go, or go to Newton Abbot. You then go back and click play, the play button just there. And just like that, you are transformed to Newton Abbot, which says flying and loads of different other stuff. Right, so if we look at our timetable in this view here, we can see we are due into Newton Abbot at 11:12. Quite quick actually, isn't it? So if we go on real-time trains and look at Newton Abbot for 11:12, trains around there at 11:12. That's maybe a bit 11:26, a bit too late. Right, so let's scroll down, scroll. 11:12. You have a Penzance to Edinburgh at 11:06. Yeah, we could put that in front actually. And I'll tell you why we do that in a second. And that's Penzance Edinburgh at 11:04. Right, let's add that HST. Forgive me here, this can be a bit of a nightmare to find, especially trying to find the AP ones. Ah, here we go, AP GNER. We want a cross-country one. East Midlands, cross-country. Fabulous, that looks good to me. I haven't actually got the new pack yet. It's a bit pricey currently, so I'm just waiting for it to come down before updating my HSTs, because this is my personal point of view. You know, you haven't got to agree with this. Oh, good, they've actually updated the doors. I didn't even know that even happened. That's really quite cool actually. My personal issue is that I've already bought the HST packs, and I feel buying them over and over again isn't particularly fair. So I feel there should be a subsidised price from Armstrong Powerhouse, but I don't think that's really going to happen. Right, so this is the Plymouth to Edinburgh service. So Plymouth is PLY, and it's going to Edinburgh EDN, I believe. And so this one's due out at 11:04. Right, so we'll put that as 11:04 currently, and we need to give a place for that to go, and that's an express service. We're actually going to add an icon like that, and we're gonna send this one to Exeter non-stop. But I think what we're actually going to do, and this is going to sound a bit weird, we're going to send it past Exeter so it's out the way and leaves us more space for other trains. So we're going to find a portal past Exeter that we're not going to. So maybe it's called East. Oh, they're both called Eastbound Portal. Oh, okay, that's trendy. Okay, maybe we'll send it up the Barnstable line. And that is called. Okay, that's fine. So if we find on here, we need to find the portals. Portal. I believe maybe we can just put it there. Eastbound portals. See what it does. That's fine. We'll put it like that. And we'll put it as timetable. Why not? You just saw that error check just down there. Just where my mouse is. That shows we're all good on that front. What else is happening around the time at 11? We have 11:10 leads to Plymouth. So we could put another one of these bad boys. HSTs maybe. Is that a HST? Yes, that is another HST. I'm curious about the doors. I can't remember updating them. But that's quite cool. I wonder when that happened. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. Maybe because I've got the coach pack now installed. I don't know. I've never seen it before. And we're going to add a driver to this one here. And we're going to go onto here and find it and service one. This is why we name them, so you don't get loads of like service, so you know which ones you're referring to. And we're going to do. Where's this one going to be going? So it's going to be going to Plymouth at 11:10. Leads to Plymouth, so change that to LDS, and it's going to Plymouth Supply, and that is an express passenger as well. There's a high chance our train will probably have to wait for this one to get out of the way, which is quite cool. But we'll be talking about leveling up scenarios next week to add different features to make them a little bit more realistic. Might even add a rail replacement bus in one of them. That wasn't necessary. I'm sorry. Right, let's see if we go back to Newton Abbot now. So if you actually see here, you can see there's an error, and it says driver failed. So the reason for this is it's an empty consist and it's not going anywhere. So we haven't given it an instruction, so it doesn't know what to do with itself, and that's what's causing the issue. So this one needs to go to Totnes Portal. Totnes is not on this map, but yeah, it's got a portal. So Totnes is just down here. Totnes Portal. Hallelujah. Lovely. And also at 11:13 as a Paddington service. So we'll add that in a second. 11:06 as an Exeter Paynton service as well. Okay, that's fine. There's a lot happening at Newton Abbot. Right, let's go back. Yeah, and tell you what, let's make this into a... What train can we have? We can have 166 GWR. First Great Western even. I think there's some GWR ones. There we go. So this GWR one was actually created by Just Trains, part of the Wessex Main Line Southampton to Salisbury line. So it's been refurbed. It's not quite there yet, but it's better than it was. And this is the Exmouth to Paynton service. So this is EXM going to Paynton, so PGN. And this one's due at 11:04 as well. Or was it 11:06? I do apologise. 11:06, just like that. I'm going to change that, and that's a stopping service, like that. Lovely. And we're going to add an instruction. So this one's actually got to stop at Tor, platform 1. Let's just keep going down. Tor. I don't know if this helps when I zoom in or not, so please feel free to say it doesn't. But some people are like, oh, what are you clicking on? So that's why I'll do it. And if we go down to Torquay, that's also platform 1. Torquay, God, I don't know my alphabet. Torquay, platform number 1, just like that. And then we're going to terminate this one at Torquay. The reason for terminating it at Torquay and not Paynton is because Paynton only has 2 platforms, it can become very congested. So if you know your service is going to pass these before it gets to its end destination, just put it at the next station along, if that makes sense. So instead of sending it to Paynton, it's only going to go as far as Torquay. And you can see the errors all been disappeared as well. Let's just make sure the route's okay, which it is, and that's going as far as Torquay platform 1. And we can also see the other service just here. The one we put in earlier, that's also going to be there. So that is good. So what you would do now is just go through the rest of the services for real-time trains. I'm not going to bore you and sit here and do every single one because that's it's probably not very helpful. So you do them for the whole line. As our train's going to go into Exeter, you'd put all the ones past Exeter. For example, there's an 11:13 service to London Paddington, which would be technically just behind R1. That is R1. I do apologise, that's R1. Stupid me. So this is actually 11:26 from Paynton to Exmouth, and from Plymouth to Cardiff Central 11:33, but we'll be well gone, so that'll be behind us. So yeah, I suppose you can put one in behind if you really want to. Yeah, tell you what, let's do it. So you can put a service behind us, so it's just something kind of like behind us, if that makes sense. If we, I don't know, if you want to make it more realistic, put trains behind you. Although you might not see them. So let's add one in here, and that'll be a class 800 service. So let's scroll down to 800s, up to 800s even. We want a GWR, no front logo. Yeah, why not? Let's have this one. It's a 5-car. Let's actually move this one a bit out the way, otherwise we'll see it. And holding down shift, you can move trains in one go. And let's chuck that one over here. I hope there's some signals around here. There is. Right, let's leave this one just here. That's well planned. And this is going to be a train behind us. So we're going to put there, and it's going to be going to where's this one going? Have I just been a bit of an idiot here? Plymouth Cardiff, so Plymouth. To be fair, you probably won't see this one, to be perfectly honest with you. So this is PLY, and it's going to Cardiff, which I believe from my days living there is CDF. I'm sure someone will go, no, it's wrong. But I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best, I promise. That is actually a stopping service. So stopping service, and that's going to be 11:30. And we're just going to send that one all the way up to Exeter. Doesn't need to stop at Newton Abbot. So there, and then we're going to go to Exeter platform number 1. Be careful here. When you've got multiple trains going to the same place, make sure you remember what platforms you put stuff in, else it can really congest the end and you might get crashing. So I know we're going into platform 5 on our actual service, we'll put into platform 1. Look out for any errors, which there isn't currently. I'll zoom out so you can see that. There's no errors currently. We're just going to have a look at the route, and that is all good. Just like that. So that is how you put in AI traffic to make it more realistic. As I said, I'm not going to put all of them in because there's lots of services. But get really creative with these, because like the more you put in, the more realistic scenarios. But talking about realism, we're going to be doing next week, so next Wednesday after this one comes up this week, we're going to be looking at leveling up your scenarios just to include different bits, different more advanced bits. So for example, looking at setting signals in a way that having to deal with delayed services, which can make it challenging for you with yellow and red signals, and it's quite realistic to be on a train, and then if you're joining a junction, having to wait for other trains. So if for example, actually tell you what, I'll go through it next week, but we have now put all the AI traffic in. So if we now go and test our scenario, always got to test. If you don't want to watch the testing, that's fine. Remember to like, subscribe, comment just here. But if you want to see how it looks, we'll test our train and we'll see that first service running. So if we click play just here and click yes to that. One thing I'm going to announce here is when you save stuff, make sure you're doing it regularly. And the reason for that is sometimes you have RAM or memory leaks where stuff runs out. Not memory leak as such, but you run out of RAM and memory, which means the scenario creator can crash midway through what you're doing, which is disastrous and can be very demotivating. So just make sure you keep saving regularly. Without further ado, let's give this a test. So we've arrived at Paynton, we're at the 10:55 service. So let's set up our cab. First thing we're going to do is insert the master key, which is Control Shift W, and then we click S on our keyboard. I'm going to get 2 alarms here. Going to click F to cancel the first alarm, and then click Q to reset the AWS Advanced Warning System, like that. Next up, we're going to open our doors. So, thank you very much. We're now going to click T and U together. So T opens the doors, but U triggers the timetable. Otherwise, you'll get fail marks. So just like that. So if we now look on our board, we can see that we've now got a timetable and waiting. Right, if we go to the front of the train, and now we can sort our tail lights out. So clicking H, Shift H, and that turns it into that mode. And pretty much all we're going to do now is just wait to be told to go. We're going to turn our DRA off, just like that. But yeah, before we go off, I just want to talk about something else regarding the channel. We've got lots of stuff going on currently, including I want to, I say we, one-man band. I want to introduce more content about tutorials. I think they go down quite well. And one is to review how is Train Simulator worth it. I've now been asked it a few times, which has been quite thought-provoking, really. Is it worth it? In my opinion, it is, but then I've had a long-term investment into it. So maybe I'll do one on that and then look at some more advanced scripting and reskinning. So there's our guard buzzer. If we turn our dealer and do 2 back, thank you very much, and then go to the side of our train and hear the motors. So just doing this. Let's go. There we go. So there is a chance for this. We might see our other trains here a bit, come past us a bit too late or early. But we'll see how that goes. So let's go in there. Let's go in here. Quite accurate sounds, to be fair for you. Yeah, I know that's controversial because you know, what's it called, Armstrong Powerhouse. I know everyone has mixed opinions. Then broken barriers every time. But yeah, I think they look quite good, to be fair. So let's go up this hill. Oh, we're speeding. That's interesting. Also, the other thing, we used to do talking over videos, and they went down quite well. Should I bring them back? Should I go back to narrating videos? Because I rather enjoy it. I like to talk. Maybe just talk to myself. Or do you prefer the ones where there's no talking? That's the question. Let's see how this other train's doing, shall we? Where is he? Where is it? I mean, to be fair, I can't remember if I set him to leave at 56, or 58, or 11. If I chose 11, it means, there he is. Is he moving along? He is. So there you got AI traffic, our first one. So let's have a look at it going past. So that's what I mean by adding AI traffic. You can sort of simulate the scenario a lot better, so it's not just you. I always feel scenarios feel a bit empty when they don't have any AI traffic on them. Oh, we're speeding again. How much should we test? Actually, you know what, I'm going to leave it here. And then we can look at some of the more advanced stuff next week, talking about leveling up the scenario. So as ever, if you liked the content, give it a big fat thumbs up. If you didn't, maybe a thumbs down, but tell us how to improve, leave us a comment. But the most important thing, remember to give us a big fat subscribe. That'd go a long way. Follow us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/RailsimGamer. And you normally get previews of what videos are coming up before they get published, which I know some people really like. So yeah, thank you as much as joining us, and I will see you next week.